What's going on, boys? Welcome back to my channel. It is your boy Tyler Davis. In today's video, we're going to break down the week 4 under-owned gems. So what that means is basically all the guys that are going really low owned. So you got these studs everyone's going to pay this week, and all these high owned guys like Amari Hampton at running back, who everyone's talking about. You got all these kind of values that everyone's looking at. But we're going to take a look at some of the guys that I think are going to be sub 5, sub 10% ownership that have the upside to win you GPPs and win you some cold hard cash. So if you enjoy this content, you want to see more here, I'm trying to grow the channel, so please subscribe, hit this video with a like. If you have any questions, as always, let me know in the comments down below. You can reach out to me on social media at tdavisbrand on social media. And we're trying to grow the channel, like I said, so any support is really, truly meaningful. I really appreciate it because I'm trying to get this channel going throughout the rest of the season. I also have a Patreon, down link in the description below if you want some behind the paywall content with my true best plays. And then also I have a free How to Win an NFL DFS ebook, so check that out in the link in the description below as well. All right, let's jump into it here. I got a few guys at each position that I want to talk about that are going under-owned. First of all, it seems like at quarterback, you're getting these mid-range guys, right? Everyone's trying to play Justin Herbert. Everyone's trying to play Jalen Hurts. We're seeing some of these, the value guys I mentioned, like Drake May and Daniel Jones, like Caleb Williams. Josh Allen, I've seen a good bit, but I feel like Lamar's going under the radar here. I've seen some people even talking about Mahomes. Lamar Jackson at 7,500 is going under the radar, and this dude is the best quarterback in football fantasy-wise, maybe besides Josh Allen. So I've seen the low ownership on this guy so far. I know the Chiefs' defense is good, and it's in Kansas City. It's a tough matchup, I know, but Lamar Jackson can get there no matter the matchup. You got to think they want to keep pace with the Chiefs. It's going to be a good battle here between these teams. Lamar Jackson seems like an outstanding play, and it seems like he's going sub 10% ownership, which is wild to me. Baker Mayfield, who no one's playing, is a little bit banged up, I know, and the upside hasn't been there yet. But remember, Philly, I think this game can shoot out here. Philly's defense looked a little bit susceptible against the Rams. Can the Bucs kind of copy that strategy? I think so. I know Mike Evans is out, makes it a little bit tougher, but you still have Emeka Egbuka. You still got his guy, Sterling Shepard. You got Chris Godwin returning. The weapons are still there for him. Bucky Irving, Rashad White out of the backfield. I think he's an okay GPP play for sub 10, maybe even sub 5% ownership there. Drake may be my value guy. I think more people are going to go Daniel Jones, Caleb Williams, Matt Stafford, Mahomes. Even maybe some Jackson Dart. So I haven't seen too much on Drake May. We'll have to monitor that, see if it rises. But I think he's an outstanding play. You run them out solo, like I mentioned in the values video. And then Joe Flacco, who I've touched on in my stacks video, who I've touched on in my values video. Joe Flacco, I think, is not going to be played. No one's going to play this guy after what we've seen so far. 3 weeks. He hasn't got more than 14 fantasy points. But if there's going to be an explosion spot, this is the spot. This is the spot for Joe Flacco here against the Detroit Lions. I'm buying. I'm going all in here on the under-owned gem. Under 5% for sure. This is a quick timeout to let you guys know that I've been a pro DFS player for over 5 years and have over $100,000 in career winnings. And now I'm giving away all my secrets, which you can check out at patreon.com/tdavisbrand. The link is also in the description below. It's going to give you a cheat sheet for every major slate of the NFL season. So Thursday Night Football, Sunday main slate, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, all the major slates, whether it be Showdown or the regular classic slates, you'll have access to my cheat sheet, as well as access to my private Discord where you can ask me anything fantasy football related. And I also have a NFL DFS ebook, How to Win at Daily Fantasy Football. It goes over every strategy you would want to win some cold hard cash this upcoming NFL season. We talk about things like bankroll management, contest selection, how to win GPPs, cash games, etc. So sign up for the free ebook down in the link in the description below. Running back, I don't have too much here. I mentioned James Cook. He'd be the guy I look at because I do think you're going to see some ownership on CMC, Bijan, Gibbs, Barkley, Taylor. That opens up James Cook, that opens up Bucky Irving, and that opens up Kyren Williams. Those would be the 3 guys in that mid-range that I'm looking at for some sub-ownership. I think Ashton Genty is okay as well. No one's going to play Ashton Genty of what we've seen so far, but this is the matchup he can get right here at home against the Bears. So I'm looking at Cook, Irving, Williams, Genty in that mid-range as like some leverage off of these top guys who I know are going to be played a good bit on both DraftKings and FanDuel. Then I go more to the mid-range, and everyone's going to play Amari Hampton, rightfully so. I think he's probably the best value on this entire slate. But I think that opens up Travis Etienne as an easy pivot right off of Amari Hampton here. And I know the matchup's tough against the Jags. But you only 5,800, and they're gonna have to involve this guy. I know he's splitting with Tootin a little bit, but the upside is always there with ETN. We saw it in week 1, we saw it in week 2 to some degree. Week 3, he was just even solid, right? You want to get involved more in the pass game on DraftKings, but at 5,800, he's definitely worth consideration. And then Nick Chubb, who I think is more of a FanDuel play, but if you get some Cam Scatterbo ownership, you get some Omarion Hampton, like I mentioned, you can go really cheap with Nick Chubb here, who if he falls in the end zone once or twice, which he can easily do, especially on FanDuel, if he falls in the end zone once or twice, pays off the salary. So those would be my under-owned gems at running back. We go to receiver here. I'm all aboard the Chargers train, of course. McConkey, Allen, Johnston, they're all pretty cheap. They're all affordable. So what do? You need a little bit of leverage off that. You need a little bit of a bring back in stacks. Malik Neighbors is that guy. I know the price tag is a little bit higher. I know it's a quarterback making his first start, but if Jackson Dart's even 50% of what he was in the preseason, he's going to be productive enough for Malik Neighbors to have an outstanding game here. And we want Malik Neighbors to get loose. I know the Chargers defense is pretty good, but they're at home here. I think they can keep up a little bit with Jackson Dart at quarterback. I'm all aboard Malik Neighbors at sub 5% ownership here, which I think is going to be the case. On the Chargers side, though, I did like Ladd McConkey because I do think you're going to see more ownership on Quentin Johnson and Keenan Allen, rightfully so. I think they're two of the best values on the slate, and I think that opens up McConkey a little bit for, and he hasn't been like super productive, right? We haven't seen that upside that McConkey brings, but with Keenan Allen back in the mix, it's been tough, and the price tag has shown that. He's only 6,500 now. He keeps dropping down 400 from his ceiling price tag, so 6,500 for McConkey, I think is a great price tag there. To get a little bit of leverage off those other two Chargers guys there. We mentioned the Browns guys at length, of course. Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, I'm still on board here because they're going to have no ownership. And I'm going to beat the drum on that to play them because there's no ownership. And then the two cheap guys that I did mention in my values video, but I think they're going to go really low owned as well, is Elic Ayo-Manor and Tyquan Thornton. Thornton's a little bit more tougher now with Worthy back, but I still think you can throw some darts at him in GPPs. And then Ayo-Manor, I don't know if the upside is there with Cam Ward, like massive, but at 3,900, he doesn't need to do too much for you, and you can get him as a cheap value receiver, and he's going to have really low ownership, and then you can kind of get the ownership at other spots at running back where you can, play more of the popular guys, and then you have that low ownership at receiver. Tight end, a bunch of options here. Mark Andrews, I think, seems like no one's going to play him against the Chiefs, but amazing last week against the Lions. It looks like he's in a rhythm now with Lamar, so Mark Andrews only 4,300 too. We know at Mark Andrews in his prime, at his upside, is like a 6K tight end. Now, I don't know if he's still worthy of that in this stage in his career, but he's still worthy of like a 5K price tag. So you're getting a massive discount on Mark Andrews. Plus, he also played on Monday night, so the price tag didn't increase. So I think he's an outstanding value here in tournaments. And you got some of these other guys that I think in that mid-range that I love: Juwan Johnson, Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry, Dallas Goedert. These guys aren't seeing like they're getting much ownership. I think you're going to see more guys go more to Njoku or Okonkwo or Kyle Pitts. Those are the guys I think are going to be heavily owned. So you can grab Juwan, Ertz, Henry, Goddard at relatively low ownership. Kind of see how it shakes out with those four guys. Whoever the cheapest or whoever the lowest owned is kind of who I'd roster, but they're all in play for me at low ownership. Brenton Strange, of course, we mentioned the values video, another guy there. And then Arondé Gadsden. I think he's outstanding. Now, the ownership might come up on Gadsden if Will Dissly is ruled out, so we got to monitor that. But if Will Dissly plays, I think Arondé Gadsden's still worth a GPP shot. They're going to play this guy more. Jim Harbaugh even came out and said that he wants to play him more. So that's the under-owned gems of week number 4. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out all the videos on my channel and check out the links down in the description below if you want more access. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please go ahead and give this video a like. I appreciate it so much, as well as subscribe to the channel here on YouTube so you can check out all the videos that I have to offer.